I'm not making any money. This is for educational purposes only. Fair use. Fair use. Brakata Yahawah. Brakata Yahawashi. Brakata Yahawah. Brakata Yahawashi. We give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, Rawchaa QaDash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops of Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect. The elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners, who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom, to you sisters, yahawah, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Ram Yahawah with the lesson. Yeah, and you can see Luzinski, landing in Brussels for a meeting with the NATO and EU leaders, right? And he's also meeting up with the Pope, right? You know? Yeah, so you look at this dude doing this tour. He's going to go meet with these these talking heads for for NATO, and the EU leaders, right? Meanwhile, his people are fighting and doing all these things. So, but hey, they're saying they're doing a heck of a job. So this is like this is called Ukraine Forum, Ukraine Forum, right? It says Russia's forces lost 930 troops and 27 aerial systems over the past day, right? So this is 12/9. So they did this today. This at 8 o'clock, 8:20 their time. So this came out today at 8:20 their time, a.m. their time, right? So bright and early, long before you woke up, they print this, right? They put this out. So the total combat loss of Russian forces in the war against Ukraine from February 24th, 2022 to December 9th, right? It's today, 2025, amounts approximately to 1 million, right? 1,182,610 personnel, including the 930 in the past 24 hours. So it's ongoing amount of people checking out of this place, man. And this is part of the Lord saying, from one end of the earth unto the other, right? Which it's going to increase even faster than this. But the Lord's increasing the death toll. I mean, because if you had a decent time, but I don't know when we got Edomites on on the planet. I don't know when you have a decent time, but you know, people die. People always die around the world, but it'd be old age, car crash. You know, a man committing adultery with man's wife, and the dude loses it and kills him and stuff. Simple things, right? But this is all out, war, this and that. So And then, another thought came into my mind too, is all while this is going on, the MOTB is being pushed out. So what do you think the Russians are doing? Though they're completely, totally opposed to Trump and the West, what are they doing about their digital, the digital finance, right? Does this, or even Ukraine, does this war stop the digital rollout, right? And does Russia say, hey, I don't give a damn about what the West is doing. We're doing our own thing, right? This was reported by General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine, yep, on Facebook, according to Ukraine or Ukraine form Ukraine form, right? Additional Russian forces have lost 11,403 tanks, right? So hey, it must be why he could do these tours, because they're doing damage over there, right? This is 23,691 plus 2 armored combat vehicles. This is vehicles. Oh, no, okay. Oh, that's the 11,000. Okay, the 11 Russian forces have lost 11,000. Yeah, and then tanks. Oh, okay, that's what they're saying. The 23,000 tanks they lost. Say armed combat vehicles. 34,944 armed vehicles, armed combat vehicles. 27. They mentioned that aerial or assault area, yeah, or yeah, assault systems. 1,563, right? MLRS ones. 253 air defense systems. 431 aircraft. 347 helicopters. See, and then these helicopters and these tanks and these things, they all have, was it, gas inside of them, right? And they have all these chemicals, so they're blowing it up and shooting, and all this stuff goes into the soil. Meanwhile, they'll talk to you about a goddamn carbon footprint. Meanwhile, they'll talk to you about a carbon footprint, right? Well, what about their carbon footprint? Right? Cruise missiles, warships. Man, come on, bro. 28 warships, one boat. Submarines, 69,204. No, it says one. Oh, it's 20. Okay, this must be it. The warship plus boat is the thing. 28 cruise missiles 28. I think it is what it's saying. 4,000. Yeah, 4,000 cruise missiles. Yeah, see, that's got to be all sorts of chemicals, right? See, vehicles and fuel tankers. 4,019 fuel tankers, right? You know, but obviously they're doing some type of damage, right? Yeah, this is NPR.org. And it's saying Ukraine's last eastern stronghold hangs on as Russian fighters to take Donbass, right? This is December 9th today. They make it seem, oh, we're look how many Russians we killed. Look how many uh, tankers and things we destroyed, and look what we've done. We've done this great thing against this, but look at their city. Look how the Russian fighters taking over their city. This is their last stronghold, right? I don't know that word. It's just Ukraine in one of the last remaining cities. Wait, in the one. But this dude is taking tours, shaking hands, smiling with the so-called Pope, right? Which have no biblical authority, you know, just the Edomite in a dress or whatever that is, you know, in the right. Because it's funny how the thing that we got cut across us, they'll call that a dress, but this guy, come on, man, that's a dress. That's not a war attire, right? That's not, thing we got is the sackcloth, but it's it's war attire too. Also, whether you know it or not, you know. But Edomites don't know nothing. But in one of the last remaining cities under Ukraine's control in the country eastern Dun 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 Tin Duntiusk reigns regent. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Duntiusk range says once a powerhouse in industry, right? Powerhouse industry, life giving, get life gives more difficult and dangerous as Russian forces inch closer, right? Says over the last month, local offices, local officials in Karm, Kar, Toroshk, Tor, Karm, Kar. Well, let me see if I could see if we can do that. Chromator. That's what it sounds like. It's Chromator.
Kramatorsk.
Kramatorsk. Okay, whatever. have reported dozens of Russians attacks on the city using strike drones, ballistic missiles, rockets, and aerial bombs. Homes, gas stations, and markets have all been hit, as has a nearby power plant, causing blackout. Right? And this is coming to America. Look at that. Let's look at that. Let's see if I can get it. This is what's coming to America. Right? Right? But meanwhile, Lazinski's going around shaking hands. Then y'all reporting things same day. That got printed out. You're printing out. This is a whole different article. It's printing out. This is your last stronghold. But you may like, yeah, we killed this many Russians. We did this. You like, if you just read that, you'd be like, damn. Okay, maybe they not doing so bad. Yeah, they're doing bad, bro. They're doing bad. But this is coming to a neighborhood near you, right? Through Palantir. The whole thing about it is it ain't gonna be a foreign invader. It's gonna be your own government, right?
Russia's digital ID uses the Gosislugi platform and the Max Super app. This app, which is pre-installed on new devices, offers digital ID, messaging, government services, and e-signatures using biometrics and QR codes. It verifies age, replaces physical documents, and is also being extended to foreign visitors.
Replaces physical documents. So all this war going on, but yet they're rolling out a digital ID, just like Europe, just like America, just like the West. But this whole thing is, you people in the West, right? So if you're really bucking up against this whole system and way things are, why aren't you bucking up against that? Why? Because they're all in cahoots, man, in some way, some fashion. But the thing about that is the Lord is going to cause them to just have some type of epiphany or something, where they just say, F it. Because the Lord said, what? They're going to hate the whore, right? And it might just be you know, I don't know. Because you know how they think if they do it themselves, then it offsets prophecy or something. But, you know, but you making a man-made famine just proves that the Lord said these times this is what's going to happen, right? You think if you bring it in on a gradual stage, that it's not what the Lord said was going to happen. See, you could fight these things in Ukraine in this war as guys, but you're bringing out the same thing, right?
Ukraine's digital ID system, through the DIA app, offers citizens digital versions of key documents and access to government services. It's a world first, legally recognized EID, and it even allows managing taxes and social aid. There are plans to integrate into the European Digital Identity Wallet by 2026.
Whoa. Yeah. See? Yeah. See, all this war, fighting, and it'll be all interconnected, right? Right? That's why they're over there. That's why he's meeting with them, right? While people are dropping dead in Ukraine, and and it even specify the Russian soldiers that died today. This people are dying today in that war, but they're rolling out the digital ID, right? You know, So this a world thing, bro. So anybody can't see that the micro C hip is the MOTB. You, like the apostle say, you're false prophets. Hey man, may Yahawah BaHaSham Shalach Rayim, hey, destroy you simple-minded jakes, man. Right? Which he is. He's going to. Right? But we want to be within the will of our power and not outside of the will. Right? Lord willing, you know? Yeah. So this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 6. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. Yeah. Turned them away from what? Following the actual truth. You know? Turned them away when it comes to the holy mountain, right? The truth. Right? The government of Yahshua, letting them know they're kings and priests. You're the Israelites. 'Cause some of them they knew these things. They went to these certain these schools, and they knew we were the Israelites, right? But they were set up to be taught something different, right? That's why it was so important that the Lord allowed Elder Abba Bibbins, High Priest Abba Bibbins, to get the revelation, to leave the commandment keepers, which they knew we were Israelites, but then even some of these so-called Christian pastor, what do they call, Baptists and Methodists and, you know, Apostolic, Episcopalian, they knew these things, man. But they're set up to not teach you, to turn you away from the mountains, the mountain of the Lord, you know, the government of Israel. And you know, you're the Lord made the world for your sake. Yeah, they have gone from mountain to hill, right? They have forgotten their resting place, right? Then have you well, go to the government, you know, go to these other governments, right? Mountain meaning government. Go to these other, go to the government. And now and now you're marching, you know, back in the day, marching to vote to get beat in the head. All for voting means nothing, right? Those people are elected, right? And elected mean they're already chosen, they're pre-chosen, right? This is all set up. This is they thought about everything that they're doing. They thought about this 200 years ago, 300 years ago. They planned for certain things. They knew to give you a so-called black president, right? When they introduced Obama, that dude was a plant, right? It implanted him. He popped up out of nowhere. He was groomed a long time ago, before even being the president. He was groomed since he was a child. How to walk, how to talk, and how to do the things that he was supposed to do, that he did do, right? In that seat, right? You know, so, but that's what they do. They have you going from mountain to hill, different governments, and go to your Congress, go to your this and that, and nothing, right? Nothing's going to change. They have forgotten their resting place. So now you're seeking for everything else, but the actual mountain, the government of Israel, man. But that's what the Lord said. Come find the old way, right? So the Lord's raising up the tabernacle of David, right? So you can find the old way and realize we have our own government. We have our own laws, which are the law, statutes, and commandments written in this book. right? And the Lord's going to give it back to us and put it in our inward parts, right? And now we're just to rehearse the righteous acts, to the best of your ability. And all that found them have devoured them. See, you can keep going to these governments, but they're just here to devour you, right? And now they're going to go a step further, pushing the digital IDs, man, where it says, all that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries say, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahawah, right? The habitation of justice. And see, that's why you're not getting any justice, right? You flipped out about some goddamn, you snapped about your snap, right? Which that was all a psyops to see how much you're which is beautiful though. Because even the Lord wanted to, you know what that is? It's really that was the Lord caused Trump to do that so he could test you niggas' hearts. So he could have a reason to kill you, man. Now the Lord is pissed off with you, right? And he gonna take pleasure in killing you niggas, man. Right? Even Yahawah, Yahawah, the habitation of justice, right? And that's why you ain't getting no justice. No justice, no peace. No, you ain't seek Yahawah. How can you have justice? And how can you have peace without Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi? Right? Even Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi, the hope of their fathers. So you ain't going back to the hope of your forefathers, right? Because you black, right? And you got a simple Jake like Tazariak doing a commercial with a Christian, a Jake Christian, right? Because he's gonna have another debate, as if you're gonna change this simple minded Jake's mind, right? Saying we don't have the truth. You have never heard nobody break down the Bible the way the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the way we do it now, right? You know, and our being humble, not saying them, but yeah, the way they taught us when we were children, and the way they don't have it. They don't have the truth, man. We have the truth through the apostles, man, and that was through his elders, because it was all set up through the Spirit. And Elder Abba Bibbins brought the sons to the fathers, and the fathers to the sons, man. Right? This is Isaiah 53:6. All we like sheep have gone astray, right? We have turned everyone to his own way, right? Everybody doing their own thing anyway, but definitely when you got uh, so-called leaders, and they're leading you the wrong way. They're leading you to vote. They're leading you to tell you that the law, statutes, and commandments are done away with. They're leading you to call yourself black, Hispanic, Native American, whatever, everything. They used to say that everything but a child of God, right? Everything but Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Gad, Reuben, right? They don't want to tell you that you're these people. You're the descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and you fulfill these prophecies, right? And the great destruction is coming to this place. Therefore, the warning must go out here, right? This is where you must lift up your voice like a trumpet, and that trumpet is giving forth what? A sound of warning, of alert, danger, and impending danger is coming, right? And it says, so we have turned everyone to his own way, and Yahawah, right, the most high, the Father, Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi, have led, have laid, it's like it have laid on him the iniquity of us all, right? So even though we did our own thing, the Lord laid the iniquity of us all upon his son, Yahawashi, right? Yeah, so this is 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 24. Who his own self bore our sins in his own body, speaking of Yahawashi, right? Who the world ignorantly calls JC, you know? And it was ultimately the Father's decision, right? But he was obedient unto it, unto death, right? You know? He didn't go his own way. He didn't do his own thing. Because he didn't do his own thing, right? And he bore our sins upon his own body on the tree, right? You know, because it curses anyone hang from the tree, right? He took on our curse. We were supposed to hang on that tree, right? That we, being dead to sins, see? And now you're meant to be dead to the sins of this world. Forget trying to go from mountain to hill and looking for this, that, and another. Looking for all sorts of, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, so to speak. You know, the things that's, you know, because it ain't no time for that, man. Right? You know. You know what I mean? It was really never a time for that, but it's definitely ain't no time for that now. What? Even these war-torn cities, they're bombing each other, bombing the power plants, because I believe I read one article how Ukraine target Russian power plant, but then they're all rolling out the digital ID. So what is that all about? That's to put fear in the people, man. Right? You know? So a lot of this whole thing, you know, let me see, what was that? Being dead to sins, that we being dead to sins should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes ye were healed, right? Man, he took on the cat of nine tails, man. That thing is no joke. It actually rips when they do it. It hooks in you. In order for them to pull it, they literally have to rip it back, and it takes a chunk of flesh out of you every time, right? And I don't know if those Edomites have a law. Was it 40 lashes minus one unless you be wicked? I don't think they have that because they're Edomites. They don't have a law where you do 40 stripes minus one. They don't have a you know what I'm saying? They don't have a law to govern them in a way like that, right? So you got to think of the brutalness that they did to our Lord. By whose stripes ye are healed, for this is the point right here. For ye were as sheep gone astray, but are now returned unto the shepherd, right? A true shepherd, right? We're returning back to Yahawashi, turning back to our true shepherd, not these other shepherds that led us astray, right? And then for some of you, Jakes, you think you in the truth, you're following Tazariak or Genesis, HOI, and you can see they're all fading away really realistically anyway, man. As much as you used to see Zabak out there teaching, you don't really see him out there now. right? The LOI, you don't see LOI, you don't see AOC, you don't see any of those dudes, man, right? Well, you know who you do see? You're gonna see your teachers. You see GMS, man, constantly. So you know who your teachers are, man. Constant videos going up, right? Every other Israelite camp is being fed by the true shepherds through GMS, man, right? Getting back to your shepherd, which is Yahawashi. Return unto the shepherd and the bishop of your soul. See, and then we're not even saying, hey, we're just supposed to be many shepherds, many bishops, man. We're, giving you to the real bishop, the real shepherd, which is Yahawashi, right? Yeah, so this is Matthew chapter 18, verse 12. How think ye, if a man have 100 sheep, and one of them being gone astray, have he not left the 99 and goeth into the mountains, right? Right? Mountain represents governments, right? So the Lord is going to go into these places to get the elect, right? Because everybody, they're doing their own thing, man, right? But there's certain people who have went astray that the Lord is like, look, I know they went astray, but that person's the elect. This person's was set up before the foundation of the world, right? So I have to get that person, because this person is, once he comes back, he's going to worship me in spirit and in truth. Yeah, I could speak to the 99. I can get, but they're not going to worship me in spirit and truth. I have to go get that one that went astray, that I know his spirit, his mind set up, right? Right? The Lord, hey, these spirit, the Lord know who you are. What didn't he tell John? John is Elijah, right? Not the scripture say that Jeremiah, I knew you in the womb, before you were in the womb. The Lord knows. He knows who these men are. The angels go out. We not go. Leave the 99, right? And goeth into the mountains and seek that which is gone astray, right? Talk about the elect, right? Because that's like that, that ratio, right? Because the Lord tells you about, there's 12,000 from each tribe, right? Matter of fact, yeah. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 27. Behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention. This have I found, right? Have I found, saith the preacher, right? Which is Yahawashi, King Solomon, right? Is Yahawashi, right? Yahawashi was King Solomon, right? In the reincarnation, he came back as Yahawashi, right? And he said, I behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention. This this have I found, right? So the Lord's to find something, he gets to find the elect. The Lord knows. Saith the preacher, which is a prophet, right? Right? Counting one by one, right? Did you hear that? Counting one by one to find out the account which yet my soul seeketh, but I found not one man among 1,000, right? It's going to give you the ratio, get you to understand. One man out of 1,000 have I found, right? One righteous man out of 1,000. But a woman among all these have I not found. So out of 1,000 women, you ain't going to find one righteous. But out of 1,000 men, you'll find one righteous. And the Lord said that he was going to put 12,000 from each tribe. So you got to look at how rare that is, how special that is, right? You know, this ain't a thing that you play a game with. You just listen to any old body and you don't pay attention to who you're following, right? Because you listen to those other shepherds and they'll lead you astray. But the Lord said he's going to come out. He's going to go and find that one, right? Yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 7, verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the children, or really which should be sons, bun Yasharallah, right? That's what it should be saying. So of all the children, all the tribes of the children of Israel, right? Which really should be bun Yasharallah, right? I'm just gonna go real quick right here, and because it's gonna go all the way through all the 12 tribes, right? It's not gonna mention Dan. It's gonna mention Ephraim and Manasseh, but it's not gonna mention Dan, right? So, but I'm just gonna go these first ones. It says, out of Judah were sealed 12,000. See, and that's that ratio, one man out of 1,000. So out of the certain thousand, the Lord is only going to find one man. So that's why that's going to be a small number. So this is one tribe. There's millions and millions of Judites, but only 12,000 out of these million of 12,000. That's a fragment, a very, very small fragment. It's like a fragment of a fragment. 12,000 Judites were sealed, right? So of the tribe of Judah were 12,000 sealed. Of the tribe of Reuben were 12,000 sealed. Were sealed. It's like a, let's do it over. It says of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000, showing you that ratio. And the Lord said, I'm going to go look and find that one, right? Yeah, so basically, yeah, the Lord left that 90 and 9 and goeth, right, going back to Matthew 18 and 12. It says, and goeth into the mountains, right? These different governments, different places where jakes are scattered, but the main places where Babylon the Great, and seek that which is gone astray. And if so be that he find it, verily I say unto you, he rejoiceth more of that sheep than of the 99 which went not astray. Right? even so, it is not the will of your Father which is in heaven that one of these little ones should perish, right? And that's dealing with the elect. Not one of the elect should perish, right? Right? Well, of course, we have the people who are going to be martyred, beheaded, but it's not perish in that fashion, because you're going to be raised back up in these last times. So, dying is it's not even a big deal anymore, especially when you know who we are now. The Lord said you're going to be the first. If you're dead, you're going to be the first to be in the chariots. Those who are dead. So it's going to be almost like you wasn't dead, because what did the Lord say? 1,000 years is one day to the Lord. So if you died, it'd be like it'd be seconds, moments. It'd be like you were, and then it's absent from the body is present with the Lord. So you'll be already like, bro, like you ain't really. It's not like you're dead. Then you're gonna the Lord's gonna give you your supernatural body. Oh man, it's just, it puts a whole new meaning to this, right? You know. And then of course the Lord said some of you shall not perish. Right? Some of you standing here shall not perish. Yeah. It says for the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father, right? Come in that great big fathership, right? Chariot, bigger than a city, bigger, damn near bigger than this entire country, right? It's gonna be huge. Flying mountain with his angels, right? Right? The Lord said he told him that he would come with bands of angels, right? He said it wasn't his time to fight, but this time it's going to be his time to fight. But it's also his time to what? To look for those particular sheep, which is really, or that man. Out of 1,000 men, I found one man righteous, right? There'll be 12,000 out of each tribe, going all the way down to find those men, right? And then he shall reward every man according to his works, right? That one man. Hey, verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see, right, the Son of Man coming in his kingdom, right? And that's what's coming, man, right? But you've been listening to these certain pastors, these certain Israelite false prophets, right? So this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth, right? And that's what they've been doing. That's what they use. Besides, what is it? Iconoclasm. Them, being, the spoils of war is history. History is to the victor, right? So they do the iconoclasm. They, they obscured certain history stories and this and that, to make things more favorable for them. They took the Catholicism, which really Jake created, right, and turned it into a Edomite thing, right? White supremacy as a method, to tell you that God is white and the angels are white, and therefore they're white, so-called white, right? Which they had to create that up too, in a in their own court system on stolen land, by the way, right? Was it 1870, 78 or something like that? 1870 something, in their own court in Virginia. That's when they created white, right? Because before that, white was never created. There was no such thing as white people, right? I forgot the lady that said that, but the elder Malcolm brought that out. Malcolm brought that out a couple years back, and I forgot the lady, but she basically said there was no such thing as white people. They create that up on stolen land in their own court system in order to try to stop Jake from laying with their women, but it hasn't stopped. Even to this very day, their women are flocking to a lot of Jakes. I mean, you know. So, hey, but that's, you know, part of their deception. You know, to be called white meaning pure, meaning good, innocent, and everything but that, right? You know, but call you're the one who's pure and innocent, right? You know, to a degree, should I say? Because Jake, they'll go off every now and then, but for the most part, Jake is the one who's really warm, and they'll give you the coat off their back, and and basically tell you to straight, not not in like a weird way. I could maybe possibly, if it, what I mean, and leave some type of opening for you to deceive, basically deception. That's the English language in itself. So that's deception, right? But also they set up your own pastors, right? They can only teach the slave Bible. They can only teach so much. The school system is set up to deceive you, right? The college system is set up to deceive you, right? Hey, the voting system is set up to deceive, make you feel like you have a right to vote when these people are elected. Elected mean they've already been chosen. They're already selected. They already elected. So it's all deception. The whole thing is deception by the means of those miracles, right? And those miracles they had with the Spanish flu, they had the Ebola. When the Spanish flu, they had yeah, I think it was Ebola. Was it Ebola? Spanish flu, Ebola. They had these things which they took this so-called black woman, which really is an Israelite woman, and took her cells and created every medicine that there is, right? And gave an antidote for these things through her cells, and through that black woman, through her cells, actually had them create what miracles. Not to mention what this new technology that they could put a micro chip in your head on your thing and put a prosthetic arm, and now the prosthetic arm can move when you think, right? These are the times of the miracles, right? It says to which had power to do in the sight of the beast, right? And that's going into these systems. Once they started creating planes and cars and things, it was like a miracle to people, man. And they were able to do that in the sight of the beast, you know. But then they stay stagnant because if you think if trains changed everything to the American system and it gave it a big boost, why wouldn't you have done like China or Japan where they have that bullet train and it literally goes from one in the country to, and you be there in hours. But see, their whole thing was no, I want to keep people having to pay big money to fly, right? And then I can use an excuse why planes are falling out the sky, and why I have to do this, and why I got to make you pay more for that. You know, though a train could go off track, it's more likely that it won't. You know, but you would think they would have did that a long time ago. And then the whole was it Wall Street can really be booming because then you could get people from everywhere, and they could from L.A. to New York in about an hour or two, whatever, from the bullet train. Boom, straight there. Boom, get out. They work. Blah blah blah. You know, collective minds and all this other stuff. But you know, hey, it is what it is. It says but they did all this in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwelt on the earth that they should make an image of the beast, which go into the Roman Empire, right? You know, they have the plebeians, the patricians. Now you got the Democrats, Republicans, and even all these other places. You know, you got the Parliament, they have the Prime Minister. You pretty much have the same thing, you know, as the Roman Empire. Even their buildings. You know, you go to France, Spain, England, they have the buildings. America, they have the buildings, especially their important buildings. You know, the lawmakers, their you know, the parliaments, the Congress. All these buildings look like Rome. No matter where you at, Spain, Portugal, England, France, Germany. All of them look like Rome, so they know that the Treaty of Rome, NATO, EU, and America, Treaty of Rome. These are these people. Is Rome reincarnated, so to speak? You know, revised, right? Because it tells you what which had the wound by the sword and did live. Like so, it's lived. It's living again. It says and had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast, which going into that technology, that Palantir, right? It's gonna speak, right? You're gonna have AI lawyers, AI doctors, AI workers. Well, they're already doing it now. You know, you pull up to the drive-in at rallies or checkers. Some people call it checkers or rallies, depending where you're at. And AI speak, hey, how you doing? What do you want to order? Give me an associate. Give me a person. That's what I tell them every time. I don't want to even talk that, but you go to certain places, it's already, even when you pull up to get your food, they're already setting it up so that you have to talk to a robot to order your food. Call on the phone. It's an AI thing. Hey, I am an AI, and I can answer real questions. All you have to do is just talk like normal, and I can answer anything, and I can get you to, give me an associate. I don't want to talk to no robot, because it don't understand what you're saying, and it'll just keep repeating, and then you don't even get through the way you're supposed to get through. You know what I mean? But this is what this is where they want things to go to. You know? It says and cause of cause them It says and he, verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, right? Karagma Karax Grapho, and their right hand on the forehead, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, the Karagma Karax Grapho, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, right? Going into the, following this entire system, right? Because it's like your social security number, right? And your social security number is going to be attached with the digital ID. And the digital ID is going to be attached to the charagma, right? Which is going to be in your head or in your forehead, your right hand or your left hand, right? Or in your head, however you get it. But you got a lot of false prophets and teachers and things and all things that's going on, right? Yeah. So it's Matthew chapter 24, verse 4. Meanwhile, Yahawashi said, and Yahawashi answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, right? You got to pay attention. You can't just be listening to anybody saying, just because they're trying to say that they're Israelite or whatever it may be, right? You got to, for many shall come in my name saying, I am Hamashiach, right? Saying that they're followers of Yahawashi, right? Which shall deceive many. They're going to say they're of Hamashiachim, right? Or basically say because basically them saying that is saying they have the unction, because the scriptures talk about having the unction of the Holy Spirit, the unction, and we know all things. Saying you know all things what concerning the scriptures, all things concerning salvation, right? You have an unction, right? Right, a smearing, where it says the smearing of oil. You have the anointing, right? Going into also being what's it called? Investiture. Yeah, the word is investiture, right? Meaning a rank, right? An investiture of a bishop, of bishops, right? When you go into that thing, it says investiture as a bishop, a ranking, honor. You're saying you have the honor of being a bishop, so to speak. You have the ranking of a bishop. And that's what they're basically saying, right? When they come and say these things, right? It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? And that's ultimately what I start off with this war or a rumor of a war, because obviously the buildings are blown apart, but at the same time they are still pushing out the digital ID, right? There ain't one country out there that's not pushing out a digital ID, right? They ain't dealing with the real ID or some type of digital ID or both already, right? And all this got to be by 2026, because they got their agenda of 2030, right? So what we're hearing is wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, because a lot of this is just it's a scare people, scare tactics. Oh, it's a war. It could be EMP. It could be this could happen. This could. What are we gonna do? Oh shoot, we better talk to the government again. Well, you've always got the short end of the stick going to mountains and hills. You keep going to getting the short end of the stick, and they're not gonna really help you. They're gonna be the ones that put you into more oppression. This time it's gonna be digital, right? It says wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. See, we're not quite yet, but we're really close. We're really close now at this point, right? But it's not here yet, not quite. The micro CHIP ain't pushed on full scale throughout the whole world, but it's about to be, right? When every country is pushing forth the digital ID, you're one step closer to the micro CHIP being pushed through the four corners of the earth, which everything is going to go super expediently fast. And then that's when it's what? For nation shall rise against nation. This is what's going to happen. So even though they're all in cahoots, the Lord is going to put an evil thought in their mind, right? The Lord is going to put a thought that they do the will of the Father, as it tells you in Revelation 17, right? They're going to do the will of the Father. You don't got these missiles and all these other things for no reason, right? For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. And that's going to increase. Well, it's already increasing now, right? There was just a 7.0 earthquake in Alaska, between the border of Alaska and Canada, which was Saturday, right? This past Saturday, 7.0. So these things are happening, right? And it says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. And see, and now you're seeing a bunch of Edomites get online. Oh my God, I can't afford this, and I can't. I'm going to live in my car, and hey, it's beautiful, man. And this is just the beginning of the sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, right? And this is the time we're about to be living in, because they're going to be able to give them what's it called, credits, right? Or no, digital dollars. Hey, turning. You ever see one of these black Hebrew Israelites? You see this guy right here? Turn him in. I'll give you, because I was looking at a thing for China and how their system thing works, and it says they'll give you 50 some type of, I think 50. I don't know how it even works, because I mean, how do you measure it? Because there's no measurement. It's a digital thing. But I guess they give you 50 points or 50 digital dollars if you snitch someone out, right? And they'll hit to your account, and all you got to do is take a picture of them and show that that person was doing something wrong, and then they'll put it on a billboard and show everybody your picture throughout the city, and then they'll shoot you the $50, right? Or whatever, however you would call it, you know. And they're going to do that. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And see, because this truth has went out into all the world, right? And that's what it says: the gospel shall be preached to all the world, to the ends of the world, right? And that's what's happening, or that's what has happened, and that's why they're pushing out this digital ID, which will lead to the micro CHIP, right? So with all that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, Rawchaa, QaDash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, to the elder apostles and bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom, right? Because one day you will be the elect, right? To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To your sisters, you Achwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and a Baba Ball and Kwam Yasharallah.